They say life is unpredictable, that fate is just a series of coincidences, that everything happens at random. But deep down you've always felt that wasn't true. There have been moments, strange, unexplainable moments, where things lined up too perfectly, where numbers repeated in ways that felt impossible, where events unfolded as if they had already been written. And what if they were? What if reality isn't just chaos but a structured code, an ancient numerical blueprint that controls everything? Your choices, your future, your very thoughts. What if they were never really yours? For centuries, secret societies, mathematicians, and spiritual leaders have whispered about a hidden code that underlies reality, a code so powerful, so precise, that it could predict events before they happen. Some call it fate. Some call it the divine language of the universe. Some say it is proof that we are living inside an advanced simulation. But one thing is certain: this code exists, and it is all around you, embedded in nature, hidden in religious texts, woven into your DNA. The few who have unlocked its secrets have changed history, and those who have tried to expose it have been silenced. This is knowledge they don't want you to have, because if you understand the code, you will understand your fate. You will see through the illusion of free will. You will realize that the path you are walking may have been determined long before you ever took your first step. But here's the most important question. If reality is truly encoded, does that mean you can rewrite it? Can you break free from the script that has already been written? Or are you trapped inside a system where the outcome has already been decided? Everything you are about to hear will challenge what you believe about life, about destiny, about the very nature of existence itself. Because once you see the code, once you understand the numbers that shape your world, there is no going back. Numbers are not just symbols on a page, they are the foundation of everything. The structure of galaxies, the rhythm of music, the growth of trees, the movement of the tides, all of it follows precise mathematical sequences. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, pi, these are not just abstract concepts. They are the fingerprints of something greater, something beyond human comprehension. The ancients understood this. They saw the patterns, the repeating sequences, the sacred geometry hidden in everything. The pyramids of Egypt, the temples of Greece, the great cathedrals of Europe, each one constructed using the same divine mathematics that govern the stars. But this isn't just about architecture, it's about reality itself. Modern physicists have discovered that the fundamental forces of the universe, gravity, electromagnetism, even the quantum behavior of particles, are governed by mathematical constants that seem too precise, too perfect to be random. The fine structure constant, the number 137, is woven into the very fabric of the cosmos, dictating the strength of atomic interactions. It is as if the universe itself was coded. But here is where it gets even stranger. This code does not just govern the physical world, it governs you, your body, your mind, your decisions. DNA, the blueprint of all life, operates like a highly advanced computer program. 4 chemical letters, A, T, C, and G, forming a sequence that determines everything about you, your height, your eye color, your predisposition to certain diseases. But what if it doesn't stop there? What if DNA contains something else? Hidden instructions, embedded numbers, a pattern that determines not just who you are, but what you will become. Some researchers have found something eerie buried in the human genome, repeating numerical patterns that resemble computer code. In 2013, physicist Vladimir Shcherbak and astrobiologist Maxim Makukov published a study suggesting that DNA contains a mathematical signature, a sequence so precise that it defies natural evolution. According to their findings, the arrangement of our genetic code bears striking similarities to a designed system, one that follows rules of numerical encoding far too ordered to be the result of randomness. So the question becomes, who or what designed the code? Some believe it is evidence of an intelligent creator, a divine architect who encoded reality in numbers. Others believe it is proof that we are living inside a highly sophisticated simulation where every event, every outcome, every possible future is determined by an unseen program running in the background. And if that is true, Then what does that mean for free will? Because if reality is encoded, then it means nothing happens by accident. Every major event in history, every war, every revolution, every rise and fall of empires, all of it may have been written into the code long before it happened. And here's where it gets even more disturbing. For centuries, religious scholars have claimed that ancient scriptures contain hidden mathematical codes. The Torah, the Bible, the Quran. These texts have been analyzed using sophisticated decryption methods, revealing patterns that seem to predict future events with chilling accuracy. The Bible code, discovered in the 20th century, suggests that within the Hebrew scriptures, names, dates, and world-changing events were encoded using equidistant letter sequences. Researchers found references to assassinations, natural disasters, even 9/11, all seemingly buried within the text thousands of years before they occurred. Coincidence? Or evidence that history itself is following a predetermined script? And if that is true, if the past, present, and future are already written, what does that mean for you? Is your fate already decided? Are you simply playing a role in a cosmic program, unaware that every choice you make was already accounted for? Or is there a way to break free? Some believe that those who understand the code can use it to change their reality, that by unlocking the hidden numerical sequences that govern their lives, they can alter the course of fate itself. This knowledge has been guarded for centuries by secret societies, religious institutions, and the elite. Because the truth is, if you knew how to manipulate the code, you would be unstoppable. You would no longer be a passive player in the system. You would be a programmer. But they do not want you to know this. They do not want you to see the patterns, to understand the sequences, to recognize the numbers that shape your life. Because if you do, if you unlock the hidden structure of reality, you might discover something terrifying, that nothing is random and everything is possible. So now you have a choice. You can dismiss this as coincidence. You can walk away and continue living in the illusion of free will, or you can go deeper. You can open your eyes, see the patterns, recognize the code, and begin the process of rewriting your own fate. But understand this: once you see it, you can never unsee it. And from that moment forward, nothing in your life will ever be the same again. You have been surrounded by the code your entire life, but no one ever told you it was there. You see it in the spirals of a seashell, in the arrangement of leaves on a stem, in the galaxies that stretch across the universe. You see it in the way your own body is structured, in the way your heart beats, in the way your DNA folds itself into patterns that repeat across nature and time. But you were never taught to look. You were never taught to question. You were never taught to see. The Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, pi. These numbers are not human inventions. They were here long before us, embedded into the fabric of existence itself. The ancients knew this. They saw the patterns. They studied the symmetry. They recognized that numbers were not just tools for counting, but the very building blocks of reality. And so they built their temples, their pyramids, their sacred monuments using these divine proportions, not as decoration, not as coincidence, but because they understood something we have forgotten. They knew that numbers were the key to unlocking reality itself. But this knowledge was not meant for everyone. It was hidden, guarded, buried beneath layers of secrecy, encoded into religious texts, concealed within ancient symbols, whispered through the halls of secret societies, because those who hold the code hold the power to shape reality, to influence fate, to manipulate the very fabric of existence, while the rest of the world remains blind. Think about the numbers that follow you, the ones that seem to appear again and again, the ones that show up in your dreams, on the clock at just the right moment, in the patterns of your life that you cannot explain. Do you really think it's random? Do you really think that out of infinite possibilities these numbers find you by accident? Or are they trying to tell you something? A message from the system itself, a glimpse into the hidden architecture of your own fate. Some call it numerology, others call it synchronicity. Some believe it is the universe trying to speak to you, while others believe it is a glitch in the simulation, a moment where the code reveals itself before quickly resetting. But one thing is certain, The numbers are not meaningless. They are signals, coordinates, markers in a pre-written script that you have only begun to decipher. And it goes deeper. Because if numbers are the blueprint of reality, then what about your name, your birth date, your genetic code? What if every detail of your existence was already mapped out in a mathematical sequence before you were even born? The ancient Chaldeans, the Pythagoreans, the mystics of Kabbalah, they all believed that names were not just labels but equations, that every letter carried a numerical vibration, that every name had a hidden frequency, that the moment you were given your name you were assigned a destiny encoded in numbers. And the elites know this. That is why they have always placed such an emphasis on names, on dates, on the precise timing of their actions. They know that numbers are not just symbols but forces, capable of bending reality in ways most people will never understand. Look at the dates of major world events. Look at the names that dominate history. Look at the symbols hidden in plain sight, in corporate logos, in religious texts, in the architecture of the most powerful cities in the world. The signs are everywhere, but the meaning has been obscured. Because the truth is, this knowledge has always been used against you. While you are told that numbers are just for accounting, just for measurement, just for science, the people who control the world use them for something much greater. They use them to predict, to manipulate, to influence the minds of the masses, to craft narratives that feel organic but are mathematically engineered for maximum effect. Why do you think certain numbers appear in wars, in economic crashes, in political shifts, in the timing of major global events? Why do you think financial markets, media cycles, even technological releases follow precise numerical cycles that repeat over and over again? It is because those who understand the numerical fabric of reality understand how to bend it. And those who do not understand it, they are trapped inside it, walking through life under the illusion of free will while following a script that was written long before they were born. But this is not where the story ends, because there is another possibility, a way out, a way to use the numbers instead of being used by them, a way to step outside the program, to rewrite the code, to take back control of your own fate before it's too late. The question is, how? If reality is encoded, then that means it can be decoded. If there is a mathematical system determining your future, then there must be a way to access it, to manipulate it, to change the trajectory of your existence, just like a programmer rewrites the code of a software program. The key lies in understanding the patterns, the repeating sequences, the glitches that reveal where the system is exposed, where it is weakest, where it can be altered. And here is the truth that changes everything. The system is not perfect. Throughout history there have been anomalies, moments where people broke the pattern, where they defied the odds, where they escaped the script. The few who managed to bend reality to their will, to rise above the numbers that sought to control them. These are the outliers, the legends, the ones who saw beyond the illusion and took back their power. They understood something that the rest of the world never figured out. That belief shapes reality, that intention directs the numbers, that consciousness is the missing variable in the equation, that the moment you realize you are inside the code, you begin to gain the ability to rewrite it. This is why the elites keep you distracted. This is why they bombard you with meaningless information, with mindless entertainment, with a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep you asleep. Because the second you wake up, the second you see the code for what it is, you become dangerous. You become unpredictable. You become something the system cannot fully control. Because here's the secret they don't want you to know. Reality is not set in stone. Fate is not fixed. The numbers do not have to dictate your life, unless you let them. So now you have a choice. You can dismiss this. You can tell yourself that life is random, that nothing is connected, that numbers mean nothing. You can go back to sleep, back to the illusion, back to the script that was written for you. Or you can start looking. You can start seeing. You can start decoding your own reality before it's too late. Because once you see the numbers, once you understand the patterns, once you realize that everything is part of a grand numerical sequence, there is no turning back, and from that moment on, you will never be the same again. If you've ever felt like certain events in your life were beyond your control, as if something unseen was guiding your path, you weren't imagining it. There is an order beneath the surface, a pattern hidden in the details, a structure that has been there all along. The question isn't whether the code exists. The question is, how deep does it go? How much of your reality is being dictated by forces you don't even see? And more importantly, can you break free? Some of the most brilliant minds in history have tried to decipher the hidden order of the universe. Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher and mathematician, didn't just study numbers, he worshipped them. He believed they were alive, that numbers weren't just for counting but were the very foundation of the cosmos. He taught that everything, music, movement, planetary orbits, followed a divine numerical harmony, that the world itself was built on an intricate sequence of frequencies and vibrations, and those who understood it could shape reality itself. He wasn't alone. The ancient Egyptians encoded sacred numbers into their pyramids, aligning them with celestial patterns. The builders of the Parthenon in Greece designed its structure around the golden ratio, a number sequence that appears everywhere, from the spiral of a seashell to the shape of galaxies. The architects of the great Gothic cathedrals embedded mathematical symmetries into their stained glass windows and towering arches, encoding divine truths into the very stones. But why? Why did the most advanced civilizations obsess over numbers? Because they knew the secret. They knew that reality is not random, that numbers don't just measure the world, they shape it, that if you understand the mathematics of reality, you can unlock its deepest mysteries, and if you control the code, you control everything. And now modern science is finally catching up. Quantum mechanics has revealed something shocking. Matter itself may not even be real in the way we think it is. Physicists studying the fundamental building blocks of the universe have discovered that particles don't behave like solid objects. They act more like information. Electrons, photons, they don't exist in one place until they are observed. Before that, they exist in a state of potential, as if they are waiting for someone to decide where they should be. What does that sound like? A computer program, a simulation, a system that only renders reality when it is being looked at, just like a video game engine that only loads the parts of the world that the player can see. And if that is true, then what does that say about fate? If reality behaves like a code, then doesn't that mean your life is following a script? There's a reason